a restaurant can lean in. We've seen people do like the detox cocktail, the facial cocktail. They can have a lot of fun with it if they want, or they can lean into the aphrodisiac and make the lovers, the this, that. So like when we're dealing with restaurants, there's a lot of places for them to go. So
there you go. All right, guys, we are back with episode number 98 of the Sarasota SpeaX podcast. As always, my name is Brad Hannon.
Felipe Colon.
And we've got Kris Ravenscroft of Beauty Booze. Beauty Booze. I love it. How you doing,
so
Kris?
Much. I'm great.
We're happy to have you on. It's a topic that Felipe and I are not very well versed on, with it being alcohol. Don't drink a whole lot. Don't hang out with people that do, but interested to hear more about it, because Beauty Booze, just the name itself, automatically makes me feel like, is it going to make me more beautiful? Am I going to think other people are more beautiful when I drink it? What's the reasoning behind the name?
So first of all, I'd love to say is we're actually a mindful drinking company, or what we'd like to call a mindful drinking company. So I appreciate the fact that you guys don't drink much. That's pretty much the norm.
That was a joke.
Oh.
Have you seen the map? Have you seen this? Well, listen, it's not about us. We're here for the community, so let's talk about the community. If you look at a map of places that consume the most alcohol in the state of Florida, Sarasota is one of the counties.
100%.
This is because it's people on vacation, people who are retired, people visiting their grandmothers or in-laws, all reasons to partake.
Yep.
No,
anyways,
we are definitely in the right side. Okay, well then we can be friends.
We just
can
drink
be friends
casually,
outside of work and in work.
We drink casually, socially, for business, for personal. It's like
for
just
breakfast.
For breakfast, very few and far between. But
they call it brunch when you do that.
You're
right?
You're a mindful
drinking company.
Okay.
Yeah, so we joke that we're the only company that encourages you to drink less, because we want people to drink when they're having fun. Like, it's a fun event. It's when you're relaxing and enjoying.
Don't drink when you're sad. Don't drink.
Right, like you don't actually need to drink to relax. Like at work, there's so many options. But like fun, when you're having joy.
You could just get stoned, right? It's like
it should be pure joy. You could get stoned after work.
I was going to say jasmine tea, but that's another approach.
There you go.
I love you guys. Yeah. But in terms of the name Beauty, legally, we like to say the beauty of Beauty Booze and Goji Berry is that it tames the ethanol taste and alcohol burn, making our vodka really smooth.
I can attest to that. Hometown Fest.
Yes.
We met at Hometown Fest.
We did.
I did get to try this. The beautiful Miss Florida, Sarasota, whatever previously.
Yes, my angel
was
Angie.
giving out the shots, and it is very smooth. It's dangerously smooth to where you might be able to drink a decent amount of it without even really knowing.
I appreciate that.
But we're mindful.
You're mindful about it. Well, what we encourage with that is we encourage people just to use less ingredients in their cocktails. So because it's so smooth, as opposed to trying to, making an ordinary cocktail where you can't taste it at all, to your point, creating this like drink that doesn't even taste like a cocktail, rapidly reduce the amount of calories and sugar you add. So you're still getting the experience of a very smooth, light cocktail, but with a lot less calories and sugar.
And a lot less hangover.
Again, not legally allowed to say that.
I can say that.
Right.
I can say that if you consume this, you probably have less of a hangover because you're drinking it with less sugar infused, mixers. So is that the intention? Is that this is something that can be drink straight or with just very light mixers?
You can't legally say that either, huh?
What's that?
You can't legally say that either.
Drink
the product straight.
He's a smart man. He sees my brain working. What can I legally say?
No, but I'm going to help you out here. So, but it's just good business to preach. Oh, fewer ingredients is better, because they're using fewer of the other things. They're using more of that, right? It's kind of like the
you could add water. So no, I'm telling you, we just
vodka waters are great.
I'm going to give a shout out to Scene Sarasota magazine. They did a 4-page spread on on drinking lighter, which they actually put out, they were willing to, I had the audacity to call the Christini, which is like a formula on how you can take all cocktails and make them lighter if you have a really smooth vodka like our vodka.
Okay.
And literally you can half the ingredients and then just add the difference in either a water, a tea, or sparkling water of some sort, like something no calories calorie, and they will be refreshing and delicious. So you do not have to create, like, you can, but you don't have to. You can add like 1.5 ounces of vodka, or, you know, in terms of beauty booze of vodka, and still create a great cocktail if you add like an ounce of water instead, or 1.5 ounces of water, and then the additional ingredients. And honestly, it will be refreshing and delicious.
Well, speaking of ingredients, the ingredients are, stand by for this, okay? It's a long list. We're going to be here for a little while. We'll roll it on the screen as well so you can follow along. But the ingredients are organic vodka and organic goji berries.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it.
And we infuse it right here in Sarasota. And the goji berry is a magical little berry in terms of the alcohol. It really, what it does, how it makes you feel, how all of it.
97 calories, 0 carbs, 0 grams of protein, and 0 grams of fat.
Yeah, so I wouldn't use it as a post-workout drink.
You're not getting buff drinking this stuff. But
you know what's cool? Nobody really. I mean, they're not required to put those metrics on the back of these bottles, right? So that's one of the only times I've seen.
You're not required to.
Yeah, so it's cool that you do that. I would guess that's part of the marketing.
It is. We do, like when we bring out our cocktails, we do it on our cocktails as well, which is also not required. But what happens is the only way, legally, the only way you're allowed to list your ingredients is if you list the nutrition, and we want people to know what's in it. So we definitely provide all of that transparency. We're
and
a super transparent company.
No reason to run from the nutrition facts either, because they're not bad.
No, 100%. Mindful drinking is people caring about what they drink, how much they drink, how often they drink, and when they drink. And so that big what is, what are the ingredients? And that's real today. I mean, we were talking about people caring a lot about that.
I like how you broke that down, because the two examples that come to mind for me are, Starbucks for a long time didn't want to list the calories on the menu.
Oof.
New York City passed a law. Could you imagine walking in the airport and saying, I'm going to order that, and then you see that it's 1,000 calories, and you're like, nope.
Dude, you know what's shocking? One of the ones that's shocking to me is Panera Bread, because I remember growing up, like in high school, I would eat Panera Bread thinking it's like a healthy, like Panera Bread's healthy. Like Panera Bread's
their image.
Quality ingredients and all that stuff. And then you look at like the calories and everything associated with their sandwiches and stuff. No offense, Panera Bread, but ain't no beauty booze, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I want to jump into the red diamonds. So what are the benefits of goji berry? You kind of hinted at it, but goji berry is apparently pretty magical.
So, obviously, goji berry is in our vodka, but on a totally unrelated note, I'd be happy to tell you the benefits of goji berry that have nothing to do with our vodka.
Outside of the vodka.
You have to say that, meaning, technically, the benefits of goji berry do not translate into this product, but if you want to know about goji berries.
Yes, but as a
we'll just put your nutrition.
I'll put the nutrition hat on the moment.
Well, let me back up real quick first, because the audience needs to know this. You're not just an entrepreneur that started a mindful drinking company. The mindful drinking company, I would imagine, not to speak for you, but I would imagine came from the fact that you have a background in nutrition as a nutritionist. So tell us about that, and then we'll get into the goji berry.
I appreciate that. The quick end of it is I actually became a nutritionist in my 20s when I got an incurable illness, and I had to become a nutritionist to cure it. And the goji berry originally started because that was a huge part of that healing path. And so originally I started out non-alc, and I was trying to make better for you foods very convenient for women so that they could stay healthy. And then when the pandemic hit, we all sat around drinking like everyone else did. We were just like drinking and drinking.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
No.
Ida, what about you?
Hey.
Was this here in Florida?
You guys never drank a
Actually,
sip.
this was in Boulder. I wrote out
I was about to say, because in Florida, we didn't sit anywhere. Everybody was outside.
Yeah, we were near the bar ordering drinks. Not at the bar, because that was not allowed.
Well, I was worse. I was in Boulder where, people were not allowed to go anywhere. So we were like literally locked down around a fire pit. And that was our life. Drinking around a fire pit
6 foot from each other.
Yeah, we got the police called on us a lot. Actually, we were much closer together in Boulder. But we were drinking, and we thought, what really needs work? This needs work. And we started with the goji berry because it had been such a huge part of my journey. And my point of view really was trying to make this better for people as they were drinking. And then it just did all these magic things to the experience. And we're like, oh, this is perfect. This was actually meant to be. So that's how that came apart. And what was your original question?
Just the goji berry, the benefits of goji berry, not in the vodka, but just in the world.
Okay, so Goji berries, as you were reading in the back of our bottle, goji berries back in ancient China used to be referred to as red diamonds. That is how revered and thought of how valuable their nutrition value was.
Okay.
So goji berries are in every ancient Chinese remedy. They are a full body tonic. They're great for your liver. And in terms of beauty, again, completely unrelated to our vodka.
Wait a second. A berry that's great for your liver mixed with a vodka, that's not
totally coincidentally.
So okay, fair enough.
You know, there are
other
other berries are pretty good for your liver too, from what I'm told.
It is true. It is true. But in terms of beauty, again, unrelated, whereas alcohol is degenerates your collagen, it degrades it, goji berry actually is great for your skin's elasticity, and it builds collagen. So you have this full body tonic that is literally in every ancient remedy there ever was that is really good for your skin.
Wow.
But again, totally unrelated to what we're doing.
So do we, just side note on the goji berry. How much goji berry goes into a bottle of vodka?
That is an excellent question. Well, I can tell you this. Some of that's going to be proprietary.
If you don't know, that's always the answer. If you don't
if you don't know. We make this ourselves. I love that. But what I can tell you this: our quality is so high at our distillery that so we actually come from medical devices.
Wow.
So my husband's an engineer and he's a scientist, and we have a colorimeter. It's because we're working with a natural product, and those natural products will be different batch to batch, whatever you receive. But we want the end product to be completely consistent.
Yeah.
So we have this incredibly expensive device called a colorimeter, and we can make sure that the colors are identical from bottle to bottle, from batch to batch.
Which would tell you that the amount of goji berry is at least similar, if not exact.
So that device measures the color based on the light it reflects.
Yes, I'm gonna say yes.
Who gives a shit how it does?
No, I think that's pretty cool. I mean,
my husband would go into that in detail.
That's not like something you see every day.
But it's down to the micron.
That's like a kid science project thing.
Okay.
And that's the quality control we use for consistency. That is so I will say that. So the official answer is a different amount based on.
I'm gonna give an unofficial ansher. I'm gonna give it a try real quick. Okay. We'll see if we can taste it. That's how we'll measure, right? I'm not a colorimeter.
Before you taste it.
Before I taste it. Felipe's going to taste it too.
I'm going to remind you that we like to say there's no added flavor, just added goodness, but it does have a personality. It's brighter, it brightens berries, it brightens citruses, and it's meant to be put in any vodka cocktail. So that the goal is not to taste like goji berry. The goal is to be smooth and bright and a better experience.
Yeah, it's not a flavored vodka.
It's not a flavored vodka.
In fact, it's a naturally infused organic goji berry flavored vodka.
Correct.
That's a mouthful.
Yes.
So the infusion,
but these drinks, guys, are not mouthfuls. This is not like a 1.5 ounce pour. This is just a little taste.
Oh,
is
that what we're doing?
This is the way that refined gentlemen taste beauty booze. Oh yeah, cheers. Hey, cheers. Thanks, buddy. Very smooth.
Very smooth.
You can still taste the goji berry though. I mean, there's still a hint.
Once it's cold, because the warmer you drink something, the more you're going to taste whatever's in it. Once it's cold, that is reduced almost to practically nothing. Like I said, it's more of a personality. It's just brighter. So a lot of people love to sip it with just a squeeze of lemon or a squeeze of lime, like almost like in a martini type form. And people, do you guys know Ralph from Classico?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so he's a huge fan of our vodka. He drinks our vodka all the time, and that's how he loves it. He loves it just shaken over ice with a little bit of lemon juice squeezed in.
Yeah.
But once you add anything to it, that slight, whatever you're tasting now when it's completely room temperature.
So it's good to mix, yeah.
It's going to be completely diminished.
So, all right, just want to back up because I got to just, we're talking a lot about the alcohol, right,
yes.
and what it exactly is, but you don't strike me as somebody that grew up wanting to start a booze company, right? So, and you talked about you had an uncurable disease, did you say? That
I like to say illness.
Uncurable
disease
illness.
Sounds dirty. Illness sounds more like clinical.
Sophisticated.
Yeah.
So uncurable illness that you wanted to become a nutritionist so that you could, treat yourself essentially. You were probably not drinking a whole lot during this time, right?
Yep.
So it's if I'm not drinking a lot, if I'm not a drinker, my natural go-to is not like, I'm going to start an alcohol company. So where did the inception or idea come from?
Well, I think what happened during the pandemic, I think something we all really realized is how important it is to have connection. I appreciated alcohol more than I ever had before. I know that sounds ridiculous.
I did during COVID, me too, yeah. Yeah. Hey, drop a comment if you agree. You appreciated alcohol more than ever. I remember when they stopped the sale of alcohol during COVID for a little while?
No.
Me neither. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, it was considered like, what did they call them at the time? Like a critical...
Yeah,
essential
service.
We need our healthcare practitioners and liquor stores
Local
need to stay
booze
over.
We don't need churches, by the way. Church is non-essential.
No, you can do that online. You can't drink virtually.
Dispensaries, we got our priorities.
Exactly.
But seriously, like you really, once you understand how important that connection is, and then I know this is going to sound
You mean, and when you say the connection, you mean like the connection to what we're putting in our body and where it comes from?
the connection between you and me.
Okay.
The connection between
People,
you and me.
okay.
Between
Relationships,
people.
right,
And we
right.
see the younger generation, they don't connect as much. They're on their phones. They're on video games. Alcohol did bring us together a lot when we were young, right? We got together, we partied.
Not too young, though.
Not too young.
When we were
we
young.
were over 21.
Yes.
Very,
And still young.
Very, very over 21.
A lot of red tape around this episode we got to navigate.
Young is a
you
very
have to have this
relative term,
reviewed.
especially in Sarasota. I will say that.
It's true.
That is also true. I love that I'm young here, and I'm just going to stick it with that. So with that connection, how critical that is, it felt so natural. It was almost like a calling, I have to say, to create something to say, it's okay, you don't have to drink all the time. It's okay, this isn't going to be part of your daily life, but have those social connections. Get together, have something you can feel good about. You don't have to overdrink it. And that joy, we have a lot of issues with lack of joy in this world. We have a lot of depression. We have a lot of all those other issues. Just get people together, have them have a nice time within a reason, with a company that sees it that way. And I think that's really what drove that, which made that a natural connection for me. Because you're absolutely right. It wasn't the path I was taking. I'm a healer naturally. It's what I naturally, and I still do that in my normal life. But I can't tell you how much energy.
But in your abnormal life.
In my abnormal life. In my alcohol life. Yeah. I love that. How much energy, how this company gives me the opportunity to spread joy and energy.
I can see the passion. You can sense the passion, of course. I
good.
think that as you're saying that, I'm sitting here kind of in an entrepreneurial mindset of like, okay, well, somebody could argue, not me, of course, but somebody could argue that you can do that through mocktails, right? Why do you have to have the booze? And I'm just filtering this through my own brain as you're saying this, and I'm thinking, well, yes, but you could also just say, drink mocktails, but be social, or, grab a sparkling soda with a lemon and you can still be social. But then you lose out because mindful drinking, you're probably still going to catch a buzz, right? To play off of our former guest Rachel's business, right? And I think that's the sweet spot. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to go out there and say, like, right there, when you catch that little buzz, you're a little looser, you're a little more open, maybe a little bit more fun. Maybe some people don't need it, but some people want to loosen up a little bit, and that's that sweet spot that you guys are aiming for with your marketing and your demographic. Did I nail it?
You nailed it. I mean, it's twofold. One, we are putting out a line of non-alc spirits because people really want them and they're asking us to do.
Love it.
And we can do
she's
it
got that covered
our
already.
point of view. So we're excited about that. But you've nailed it. Like, it is a social lubricant. It's just some
social lubricant. She's got the verbiage down.
And I like it. But a lot of times what we do is, we can overdo it if we're not careful. And a lot of times those last drinks, honestly, those are just for the room to spin. Like, you don't even feel those. You had a perfectly good time.
Well, like anything else, the law of diminishing returns. One gets you, and then two and three before you know it. It's probably negative returns.
Man, that was the coolest person at the party till they threw up all over themselves.
Exactly. And we haven't all been there, but I've been there. I'll confess. But like, so if you automatically come out with this idea that I'm only going to have this for I want to be in that little mood, that little light giggly or whatever it is that happens to you. I want to do a little dancing, whatever yours is, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to do yoga in the morning. And those are our peeps. Our peeps want to wake up and have a great day tomorrow. They don't want to have to recover tomorrow. That's not the goal. So
obviously I'm preaching to the choir, but I mean anybody who reads anything about demographics these days, the younger generations are way more interested in that type of recreation than they are what we kind of grew up with.
Well, and that's
100%.
why I thought when you said connected, I was thinking like, we live in this world that's becoming more connected and conscious of what we're putting in our bodies, and what we're told is good for us may not be the most ideal, and all of these types of things. So when you were talking about being connected, that's where I thought you were going, but both actually play into each other. And the advent of this comes at a time where, during COVID and after COVID, I think it just was an awakening in America, and especially younger people, of, hey, maybe, the food pyramid and, the jabs and things are not always what they're supposed to be. And that's where I'll leave it, because the producer will get really upset if we start talking too much about that stuff and we get flagged. But you briefly touched on the mocktails, so or the non-alcoholic beauty booze that you're going to put out. Is this right now your only flavor? Are there other flavors with alcohol, or what's the full suite of beauty booze products consist of? Hey, we are having an absolute blast getting to know Kris and all about beauty booze. If you want to get to know her a little bit further, stay tuned for rapid fire questions fueled by food and beer.
Hi, my name is Kris Ravenscroft. I am the owner of Beauty Booze, and this is Rapid Fire.
10 random questions, 10 specific answers, nothing off limit. This is Rapid Fire, fueled by food and beer. Everybody's got a nickname. What's yours?
Yes, around town I am known as the Vodka Girl.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
You have chosen wisely.
What's your favorite place to visit?
My favorite place to visit is Sarasota. I live here, but I work a lot, and so whenever I get time off, I try to find out the wonderful things about Sarasota I haven't seen yet.
In your opinion, what is the worst song that was ever recorded?
Oh, you know what? There's this song. Does anyone remember the song Friday?
Friday, Friday, getting down on Friday.
Friday, Friday. And then it was Monday, and then there's Tuesday. The world's worst lyrics ever.
We so excited. We so excited.
I'm gonna go with that one.
What food did you hate as a kid, but you love now?
Brussels sprouts. I would eat Brussels sprouts all day, every day, and funny enough, it is the only vegetable my dog will eat as well. Now, that could be because it's the only vegetable I feed him, but there you go.
Have you ever met your doppelganger before?
So I have many doppelgangers. I have a look about me where everyone always thinks they've met me before.
You seem somewhat familiar. Have I threatened you before?
Or I walk into a store and they ask me if I've left something and I've never been there before. But I have yet to ever meet my doppelganger.
What temperature do you set your thermostat at? Cold as hell.
I like things what I consider warm. So what I would set my thermostat is 74, but my husband does not like that as much, so we compromise and we set it about 71.
Pick your poison, skydive or swim with the sharks.
I'm gonna skydive. I'm gonna skydive, although I argue that in Florida, you're always diving with sharks.
Do you prefer your peanut butter creamy, crunchy, or liquid?
Oh, creamy. Crunchy peanut butter eaters are weirdos.
Totally.
After, of course, eating food and beer, where's the first place you would take visitors in Sarasota besides the beach?
I would say, for a first-time visitor to Sarasota, go to Jack Dusty's. Because I do think Sarasota has many sides to it, but there's this lovely element of Sarasota that I think you can experience by just spending a lunchtime at Jack Dusty's.
Who's hungry?
currently right now we're only offering the Beauty Boost Goji Berry infused vodka, but we do have cute little canned cocktails called beauty cocktails that we will be bringing online this year. And as I said, the non-alc spirits, which we're really excited about. People have been asking for us, and most people don't understand that most people drink and they don't drink at the same time. Like, it's very few people, not at the same time.
I'm drinking and not drinking at the same time. I'm double fisting. No, I get what you're saying. Like,
I love that. But yes,
they might have a drink or two and then not.
Or maybe one night they're doing cocktails and then another night
Right.
they're doing mocktails.
Right.
Like it, so I think it
We're
really
mixing them in
fits.
between. I mean, I know some companies like Guinness has a 0 now, and some people like to alternate regular Guinness 0. Just saying. Great idea.
Name that person because
It might be somebody in this room.
Oh, okay, there he is.
That's
Felipe's
that's
go-to.
the guy version of what
Can we
women
get
like to
E-Dub
do, which
to
is
drink? That just
cocktail
water.
water,
Yeah.
cocktail
Can
water.
we get E-Dub to drink an NA Heineken? You think, or Guinness?
If he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. Leave him alone.
It would be so cool. Just like he's just holding the beer. We're like, oh, he's drinking a beer.
Not
They're-
really.
They're,
Come on, there's no
I mean, they say 0 on the can. It's got to be.
You ever
0.
have cough syrup?
Oh,
Just curious. No cough syrup either? All
All right. You
True-
guys can't
true
hear the
believer.
producer, but he's back here. We love him. Never had a sip of alcohol and never will. But anyways, so the cans, are these like slim cans or regular cans?
They're slim. I mean,
Are they?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got to
that
be.
makes sense.
They
It's-
have to.
It's more beautiful.
Yeah,
Slim
yeah.
cans are just,
more
the
slender.
profile is just more streamlined, right?
It is.
It's just more elegant and
More elegant.
you know, feminine.
Yes, it's tall and lean.
Tall and lean, right?
Yeah, there you go. The cans, when would they be expected to be out?
So we expect pretty high volume from those. So we're just gearing up to make sure we have the resources
Yeah.
to do that. And what makes our cans so special is the Beauty Boost Goji Berry infused vodka. I mean, we also only use extracts in those. We don't even use natural flavors. Like, we only use pure real extracts, organic juice. And because the vodka is so smooth, you know, for just a little bit of juice and a little bit of extract, you get such bang for your buck on those. So they're really lovely. So we've got a couple of things that we're doing in-house right
exciting.
now. So we just want to make sure
Well,
that
we'll
we
be the
can-
first to try when you're ready. So
I
just
love
let us
that.
know.
Thank you.
We'll sample them. But I didn't want to jump on this right away. I was waiting till later on in the episode. But I have a note here somewhere that I've read before the show, and I rarely read these notes, but one of the things said it's a natural aphrodisiac. Not Beauty Boost, but the Goji Berry is a natural aphrodisiac.
Yeah, this is actually a story I think worth telling if we have a second. too.
Yes, we've got several seconds yet.
Okay, excellent. So we found that out in kind of an interesting way. I was formulating a cocktail for one of our events. I know.
We found that out in kind of an interesting way.
Let her at least finish the story before we go
There's
on.
so many clips in this episode, you know. You could just stop it in so many different spots, and people be like, "Wait, what?" People can drink and not drink at the same time. All right, we're on the edge of our seat.
Okay, so I was formulating, and it's not one of my better skills, so I have to do that like over a week, every night over a week to get a good cocktail balanced. And it just happened to be a week where my husband was doing business meetings all week. And so all week, every night, I was like inappropriately texting him during his business meetings. And then by night 4, I was like, wait a second. Because I had been drinking my own vodka for 4 nights straight. And sure enough, I looked it up online, and Goji Berry is an aphrodisiac. So I can tell you that if you come home and you do
From
not eat
personal
dinner,
experience.
from personal experience, that yes, Beauty Booze, yeah. So if you don't eat dinner, you come home and you do a bunch of drinking, which is what I was doing that week. It definitely is it's an aphrodisiac. So it's kind of funny. We didn't like look up the attributes of Goji Berry. Like we were like, well, me, myself, and I was like, this is something going on here. And sure enough, it was.
all in the name of science, right? You
I'm
gotta
just going to be
test it.
honest with you.
Someone has
There's
to
been
do it.
other types of vodkas and liquors out there that have had the same effect on me, and they don't have Goji Berry in it. So I may just be unique, but cheers to that.
Yeah, normally people say, "Will this make me more beautiful?" And much to your point, like
It
all
actually will,
vodkas,
or could.
Well, we like to joke that like all vodkas, it'll make other people more beautiful.
There you go. And the point of the Beauty Booze, though, is that it does the Goji Berry helps you maintain the elasticity and the collagen in your skin. So like that, not
that we're legally allowed
not
to
that
say
we're
that.
legally saying that Beauty Booze does this, but it does it more than some others might.
Absolutely a great reason to drink Goji Berry tea. Just sprinkle some on your oatmeal would be those.
Put the Goji Berry tea in with the Goji Berry vodka. Splash some ice cubes.
Oh, you got a
Now we're
crostini.
cooking. Is that what that is? A crostini?
Yeah,
is that what the
pretty
drink
close
is?
to a crostini. Well, a crostini is essentially it's lemon or lime, a certain portion, obviously vodka, but Beauty Boo's Goji Berry infused vodka is the best. A quarter of a tablespoon, a quarter of a teaspoon of some sort of, if you want to, like liqueur, like elderflower liqueur or something.
Got it.
Whereas normally you'd add, a quarter of an ounce. But normally you'd add like 3/4 to a whole ounce in that, but you don't have to when you're using a smooth vodka because you're not overcoming the taste of the vodka.
Right.
You can taste it, so it's so much less calories. And then either tea or water or something like that, and then a juice, like a little bit of juice. And I'm telling you, you can pretty much combine that in a million different ways, and it will always be delicious and it will always be refreshing.
Who serves Beauty Booze in Sarasota?
So I'm going to, because Ralph has been so good to us, so Rose and Ivy is a great place to do it. And we're currently, that's my favorite place to get it right now, but we're currently in talks to do some fun things. Like we're talking to Josh over at Gator Club for, this is so off-brand for us, but I love it. It's like my favorite thing we're doing right now. Because they want to play off on the aphrodisiac for porn bingo. It's such a hilarious.
That brings a good turnout though.
Wednesday nights, right?
I think it's Wednesday nights, right? So like,
Felipe, what time? How
Well,
many
they have
times?
it on-
How many times have you won it?
They have it on a
He's like,
billboard
"That's
outside of the
crazy."
place. If you spend any time downtown, it
I
says
don't.
Wednesday
I
porno
must-
bingo.
Gotcha.
yeah. So we're talking to Element.
You in?
We're talking to Weston.
Today happens to be
Nah.
Wednesday.
No, I'm good.
You know what I'm doing
I got
later.
some work to do.
Yeah, so we can do a lot of fun things. Like the nicest thing about being on a restaurant for us is, first off, made with Beauty Boo's Goji Berry infused vodka looks great on a cocktail menu. People have to know what it is. They have
Yeah.
to taste it. But you can lean in, like a restaurant can lean in. We've seen people do like the detox cocktail, the facial cocktail. They can have a lot of fun with it if they want, or they can lean into the aphrodisiac and make the lovers, the this, that. So like when we're dealing with restaurants, there's a lot of places for them to go. So
There you
that's
go.
a great thing.
We learned a lot about the business from our time when we had Misguided Spirits on, and one of the things that you just described was very similar to what he said. Once you give restaurants the ability to use your liquor in a cocktail that they can market and upcharge, it's really good for them and for you.
100%. You have to be differentiated in product and point of view.
Yeah.
Because, I love a good rum or something like that, but it's so hard to tell a consumer sitting there, this is this rum and it's just really good.
Right.
Because they don't know.
They're not
they
drinking
don't
it
wanna hear
straight
it.
most times anyways, so
right.
it's not like...
100%. And it's just, but when you can convey that, like Misguided, what a great name, right? You can have a lot of fun with that. You're going to get the restaurant involved, the brand involved, and the consumer involved, and that's when you win.
So I want to kind of tie into something, because one of the things, and you brought up Misguided, and we've had other companies on and things like that, and it's not always brewed, or it's not always distilled or brewed locally, and obviously as a Sarasota podcast and being named Sarasota SpeaX, I would love to talk about where this is distilled, because I think that's important to the product as well.
Thank you so much. We are local. We brought our distillery here to Sarasota. We're up around the airport. We're not consumer facing right now. We do have a tasting license, and I always have joy when people want to come and buy cases directly from our tasting license distillery, because it's such a great experience. But we do not, we're not designed to be consumer facing right now. Hopefully maybe in the future we'll
So
do
are you
that.
saying people could buy cases, or they couldn't buy cases?
Oh, they can buy them out of
Okay.
our distillery.
They can buy the cases,
Yeah,
but not,
but I'd
not
love
like
to
tours
drive
and
them.
stuff yet.
Not tours and stuff, not just yet. I mean, just so that I do make sure to mention this, we are in Total Wine. I don't know if I've
Okay.
said that. So we are in Total Wine. But 100%, you want to come by the distillery, get some product and see what our little place is doing over there. We'd love to have you.
Well, and I imagine there's maybe plans down the road to have it somewhat more consumer facing, right?
100%. I mean, I feel like the wonderful thing.
Everyone's got to see the colorimeter, like that's a big deal. Felipe will be there trying to figure out how it works.
I love that. I love
Technology,
that. Yes. Yes, honestly. So all the tech geeks out there, come see our colorimeter. But yeah, I feel like with our brand, I mean, one thing we like to say about it is that it's a platform brand, and you can see that because we have our TDs, we have non-alc, alc, we could run through it. I mean, really, you know, it's a really strong brand and point of view in that way. I think also because of that, it would make an amazing consumer experience. So I could totally see us doing that down the road. That would be
and the
beautiful.
partnerships that you could do with all the local people
definitely.
in that space. It's a big industry in town.
Well, we're talking about the
100%.
distillery process, and I don't know everything about it, but I can imagine that there's two directions you can go, right? You can take on the distillery process yourself, or you can third party it to companies that do this, and you can have some control over quality and things like that, but not the ultimate control because it's not you doing it. Did you ever do it through somebody else? And if you didn't, why did you decide to just take on that whole? Because that's a big freaking thing to do.
It is. Okay, so I do want to be super clear about this. So at our distillery, we infuse.
Okay.
With vodka, you are right. I mean, it is rare. It's not unheard of, but it is rare to do the distillation in-house with vodka.
We've actually heard that on the podcast before too.
Because it's now if you're making rum, we're going to bring that in-house. But if you're obviously, gosh, if you're making, you know, bourbon or whiskey, et cetera, all of those things, you're going to bring that in-house. But to get the basis of vodka, that is made by enormous companies. There's like 3 major companies in the country that do that. It does make more sense to do that. We do all of our infusion in-house. So we're infusing and we're creating vodka and doing infusion in-house. And the reason for that is most companies, unless you're using a unique ingredient like agave, some potato vodkas will do that in-house. We use organic corn. So as long as you're doing that, it doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense to do that. And even in gin, because gin is the same base. So when we move to gin, we'll do a gin. We do all the infusions in-house.
Yeah, but I can imagine if you guys were consumer facing and you did tastings, you said, all right, here's the vodka when it comes to us. Go ahead, give it a try. And then here's the vodka after we run it through our process. It's probably night and day.
Night and day. We do buy top quality. I mean, you have to start with the most, so it's 6X distilled and it's organic. So we pay high prices for the base of what we do, but that's the magic of the Goji Berry. Without the Goji Berry, and we also have a proprietary process that we've learned over time, that is the beauty of having your own facility, is that you can formulate and you can experiment until it's perfect.
Yeah.
Where when you use third parties for things like that, you can't. They kind of
Right.
just send it to you and it's the time, it's the effort. There were times when we were making our cocktails that I had to Uber home.
Too many samples.
Yeah, like at some point, because you just want to perfect it and you perfect the process and you perfect the flavors and all of that. And then at some point in the day, you're like, this is terrific. Everything's terrific.
And then you're saying, wait a minute. I might not have the same perspective 3 hours later that I had when I started.
Exactly. It's like time to go home.
But that makes sense, though, because I would think if you have a third party doing that kind of work, the meter's always running. You know what I mean? If you have them redo it, you're paying for that. They're not...
Not only is it costly, it's costing, which it is, it's time. Like, you get a cocktail and, whatever you're formulating, and you're like, this needs more grapefruit, right? A simple little thing. It's not enough grapefruit flavor. Well, you get that 2 months later.
Oh, wow.
Where like we'll do until we can't.
Right. Until we have to Uber home.
Until we have to Uber on, until we're useless. Like we'll do, 20, 30 samples in a day, right? Like where that would be, so we really, and then through the manufacturing process, you also have some degradation of quality. So you have to account for that. If you have to do that through a third party, that's not only expensive, but also time-wise. We will work on it until it's right.
How much more difficult is it to get the organic vodka base? Because I know there aren't a lot of organic vodkas out there. The one that comes to mind for me is Crop. They've been around for a while. Similar bottle, too. Tito's is not organic.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
I mean, that's
Tito's
what they
is
say.
gluten-free.
Gluten-free, okay.
It's not organic.
The only reason I know that
Gluten-free.
is I've come across this before with Tito's that someone's insisted, and I'm like, gosh, I didn't know that. And I look it up, and they're
It's
like,
gluten-free.
No,
That's what
gluten-free.
they say.
This little guy on there,
No,
that
it got me with
USDA organic, that's not cheap.
Right.
No.
You know.
So our distillery has to be certified as organic as a whole, which, trust me, is not an easy process.
Not at all.
I mean, being in alcohol is hard enough, but then going through the organic process. So yeah, it is. You have to work with qualified brokers. You have to make sure that where it's sourcing, it's from. Again, that's where our backgrounds. In medical devices, because we were in long-term medical devices, and I know that doesn't sound as sexy, but
Not as beauty booze, no.
no. But it gives you the training ground for understanding how to deal with suppliers and vendors, and how specifically to make sure that you're getting the top product.
I love it. Well, I tied that into Sarasota and the distillery because I wanted to kick it over to Felipe, who's not Trey, but sitting in Trey's seat today.
Am I doing the Trey thing today?
I'm certainly not. So
okay, I guess
it's up to you, buddy.
That makes sense. Tominator Law, Trey Martell, and Felipe Colon want to know, what are your thoughts on roundabouts popping up all over Sarasota? Love them, hate them, something in between?
And how many roundabouts do you have to go through to get to your distillery?
That is, oh gosh, I love this question. Okay. I hate roundabouts.
Good.
I hate
We
roundabouts.
need more roundabout haters.
I do. I mean, honestly, when my grandmother was here many years ago and they put the first roundabout in, I remember this was happening. And I thought, oh, these old people, they're never going to be able to get around a roundabout, right? I was like, there's going to be many crashes. I was like young and arrogant. I can't get around a roundabout. It is by the grace of God that I get through these roundabouts any given moment.
Especially these ones.
No, I know. Oh, the one by...
Don't look too long. You'll get stuck. You'll get entranced.
Yes.
It's really difficult. But yes, this one, the other one that we just went by.
Yeah, are these the ones, the one near the Ritz? Is
41,
Yeah, the one by the Ritz we just passed, and now we're getting a little closer.
No, it is by the grace of God. I have no idea. It's a wing and a prayer. Anytime I go to the Ritz, I'm like, I could be
We're
going
over here,
to a
Felipe.
gala.
We're over here, Chris.
Sorry.
It's hard to look away.
Sorry, it is hard to look away.
It's fun to look at.
We could probably make an entire minute-long reel video of the guests and us just staring, because once you
It's
look over,
mesmerizing.
you really just get drawn in.
Whoever took this video, it makes Sarasota look like a video game.
This was E-Dub.
So-
E-Dub went around town.
That's what it is.
E-Dub went around town before we started the podcast. You got all this footage. It's great. Good job, E-Dub. Really, really solid work. And I believe it's stock footage, but they did a great job. They did a great job.
So don't you guys agree, though? I mean, are you pro?
So we, 98 episodes later, we've really become experts in the field of roundabouts. And while I don't entirely love them, I don't hate them anymore, because they keep officers from having to, waive traffic when power is out.
They don't go down during hurricanes.
They keep the flow of traffic moving. Yeah, they don't go down during hurricanes. And although they for sure cause accidents, they cause less critical accidents than if you were running a red light or, going 45 miles an hour. So I think they're better, but I still think there's got to be a better solution, like a bunch of bridges or something. I don't know. Just never stop. Just bridges everywhere, every intersection. I don't know.
So I love that perspective, and I appreciate it. I'm going to thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first got here, and there was no, I'm good. I'm getting better at it like any other skill. I'm developing it. But I got here, and there was some decal on the ground that had like trying to explain to you where you should go, and it was like arrow here, arrow there, arrow there. And I was like, how are you supposed to drive up to this and understand this at all?
I'm going 20 miles an hour. I can't read this.
No.
Well, that's fine, because one of the episodes I said, it's better than a light. And I said, well, what about the one that has a light? What about the freaking roundabout right over here downtown that also has a light? And they're like, well, that light's for pedestrians. I'm like, well, news to me. So I'm often, the one that's ill-informed and things like that. But that's okay.
I think they make people uncomfortable. And the way they make people uncomfortable that I think is justified is these things require trust to use. Yes. Meaning I have to trust that the person who's slowing down when I'm in the roundabout is actually going to stop. Some of them don't. You know what I mean? So it only takes one time.
But when you're in the roundabout and the person's coming in, you're not supposed to look there.
And I'm in the roundabout.
You're not supposed to look there.
Yeah, but
Felipe.
they're about to T-bone.
You're going to cause an accident. You don't look there. You look straight ahead. You don't look at who's coming in. Just they're not even there. And also, here's another
It
fun
is a trust
fact.
fall. It's like a trust fall.
That's the
roundabouts are
issue.
one big trust fall.
There's another fun
Otherwise,
fact
they're great.
about roundabouts you may not know. They a
Yes.
lot of times put artwork in the center of them. Why do you think they would do that? Because when you're approaching the roundabout, and if you see all these cars in the roundabout, it might cause you to, hesitate or not act. So they put that there purposely as a kind of a block to the vision. You see people coming at you, and you're like, oh shoot, you're stopping. They're blocking the view of traffic.
Makes perfect sense.
Like the blinders on the horse. When we're
100%.
racing.
Yeah.
You know,
I
probably
feel
a
like
bad
I think
analogy, but you
that's
get me.
also a great analogy. We're all like blind horses
Yeah.
crossing the road.
Stay in your lane,
No, not blind horses. Horses with blinders on. They can still see. They just can't see peripherally. All right. Well, it's been a blast. Great podcast. Great episode. We always land the plane with one final question. And, Felipe did the roundabout question. Felipe, do you give me permission
You
to,
got it. Go
to
ahead.
take it over? I'm going to try
See
this.
what you can do with
I'm going
this.
to try my hand. I'm not a roundabout guy. I can't do that part, but I might be able to nail this. So Felipe always says, there are people in Sarasota where if you don't know them, you just don't know them, right? And so people that we might not know and that our listeners might not know, and we're curious who that we might not know, or maybe we do know, but the listeners definitely need to know. Who do you suggest we have on Sarasota SpeaX podcast in the future?
Ooh. Well, I did come here, and I mentioned to you, so I would love to share. There is a amazing entrepreneur out there. Her name is Heather Hackett.
Okay.
And she is creating an app that is going to revolutionize how people are going to be able to get resources during any emergency.
Okay.
I want to make sure I get this right. It's Global Relief. Oh my God, I have to look.
Global Relief something. Heather
I
Hackett.
think-
It's
Well, as
okay.
long as you get the name right, we'll do
find
the
Heather
website.
Hackett. Don't worry.
Yeah. That's a name
and-
we haven't heard before, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, and what will happen is in any type of emergency, like we had all those hurricanes, you don't know what you need until you're in it. You can go on this app, and it's going to give you not only the corporate resources, but it's going to give you private resources and nonprofit resources,
Love it.
all at a time you need it. So
Very
that's
cool.
who I would suggest.
Well, that was great. You were on the spot. You did talk about it earlier, so that's fine. But I'm going to put you on the spot again. Who else? That's one. Give me one more.
Okay, who should be
Just
on
out of
that you need
curiosity.
to know? Okay, well, I'm going to shout out to what I'm doing tonight. And I belong to a group called Women in Philanthropy. And we are currently bringing on new members. It is an organization so dear to my heart. So any of the leaders of Women in Philanthropy, I mean, if she'd come, Catherine Harris would be amazing.
I was just waiting for her to say
I'll
that.
let, I'll let Brad address this one. He's,
Catherine and Margaret have already been on.
Oh, they have?
They have. We'll send you the episode. You got to check it out. It
Oh
was a
my
great one.
God. Okay, well, you need to have them back on, and I'll tell you why. The group.
We will welcome them on anytime. They're great.
Okay, because the group is changing and shifting, and we're really bringing on members, and the whole idea is to create this spirit of philanthropy from young people on up. So, whereas before when they came, they probably concentrated on a lot on the honoring of women, which is my guess at that time. But now we're really doing a recruitment to bring people who want to be the pipeline and future of philanthropy
Yeah.
as well. So I think it's time to have them
You
on
know,
again.
it's
I
funny.
agree.
It's funny you say that because a friend of mine who approached me about that same topic the other day when I was out downtown, and said that I'm looking at joining this group. I think
Not mindfully
we
drinking.
should- Always mindful, Brad. Always mindful.
Mindlessly drinking.
Mindlessly.
Oh God, I'm going to use that.
I said out. Maybe I was having dinner, Brad. Jeez. I can't win over here. She said, listen, they're trying to bring on some younger people so they can, in the spirit of the formation of that organization, really pass down that legacy and that spirit of giving, not just monetarily, but also time and advocacy, et cetera. So we might in the future look at having like maybe a panel of some of the younger people who
Absolutely.
are interested in that organization and are
I mean,
getting involved.
I will throw my hat into that ring for sure because I'm super passionate about it. Not just to be on your podcast again, which I would love to see you guys again, but that's something that I'm really passionate about as well. And there's a lot of us that are. I think it would be well worth it to do that because People want meaning in their lives, and we've already talked about connection, right? And connection through fun, but the other connection is connection through meaning and purpose.
Well, they're a great friend of the podcast, and we'll support a lot of what they do for sure. So thank you so much for coming on. We'll also support Beauty Booze.
Thank you.
I imagine these are ours to keep.
They are.
Okay, great. One of these is going to go in my locker for mindful drinking times.
Yes, I have a
Thank you so
strange
much.
feeling that this is going to go in a night.
It's for sure.